Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the first week of April. So we're going to be going day by day. I look in reference to where the moon is and how all the other planets are placed from the moon. Because remember, the moon is the public. It is the mass consciousness. And the moon is so volatile, and it's like it deals with our emotions as a group. So I've based things on where the planets are from the moon, and especially what sign the moon's in, what nakshatra. And this is going to give you guidance as to what days are apt to do certain activities. What is the best day to do things? That's what this is all about. So I'm going to begin, but before I do, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org. You will get all of my predictions delivered to your email address, absolutely free. And while you're there, check out my Patreon page. Become a member so we can communicate closely. Last but not least, if you want to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university website, universityofvedicastrology.com. So let's begin with April 1st. What is in store for us throughout the first week of April? So I'm looking at April 1st, and interestingly enough, this day, Mercury goes retrograde. So what a great thing for April Fool's Day. Everyone's going to be a little bit changeable, crazy, not dependable, because when Mercury changes directions, people change their mind. And Mercury retrograde is not a terrible time. Don't forget, it's a time for review, reassessing things, going back and refiguring things, because it's a time of reflection, not a time to move forward and do new things. So Mercury is in Aries with Jupiter, but it's going to turn retrograde. So it's going to, for most of the month of April, be in Pisces. It's going to go back to the sign before. Now, the moon today is in Sagittarius. We'll be in Sagittarius all day. Remember, everything I'm talking about is based on where I am, which is Central Standard Time. So it's going to be in Sagittarius, and for most of the day in the nakshatra Purva Ashada. Now, Purva Ashada is a nakshatra that deals, it's harsh. It deals specifically with truthfulness and fact-finding. So this is a day where people really want the truth. They're not putting up with any nonsense about people distorting the truth. Facts are that the truth will probably change, because so is Mercury changing its direction, and soon signs for the month. So, but the lovely thing about today is that Jupiter is casting a trine to the moon. So there is an openness. There is a need to find truth today. There is the opportunity where things will come out that are dealing with finding truth. So it's a good day, but the Mercury retrograde, of course, it's not the day to start brand new things. When Mercury changes directions, so will your mind. Now we have the Mars and Saturn approaching one another, and this is intense because this will cause setbacks and delays. They're nearing each other in Aquarius. So be careful around communications, because the Saturn Mars are in the third from the moon, and that deals with communications. So people are going to be very fickle and changeable today. Now Venus is now in Pisces, and it's very close to Neptune, which this can be a day of creativity. And they are in the fourth house from the moon. So this is a perfect day for redecorating, changing your furniture around in your house, getting a different energy feel within your house. Buying furniture, things that beautify your home, that's a good way you can spend today. With Venus now exalted in Pisces in the 4th house from the moon. And it's with Neptune. So there can be visions of grandeur when it comes to decorating and being creative. So that's April 1st. Now, April 2nd, let's see what happens this day. So April 2nd, the moon will still be in Sagittarius till about the evening. Yes, till the evening it is in Sagittarius. And actually it will change into Capricorn around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But so most of the day it's in Sagittarius and it's in the nakshatra the whole day, Uttara Ashada. And the Ashadas are still the nakshatras about finding truth, finding facts. But once the moon goes into Capricorn, it's not so much about the righteousness and the truthfulness. It's going to be more about work and getting serious about making things work in the workplace. But still, all in all, this is a harsh day for communications. Mercury's now retrograde. Mars and Saturn are in the 3rd house from the moon. So it's very hard for you to get your message across, especially with emails, because writing is where things feel blocked and not being able to process. This is your communication. So be careful before you send an email that's important. Double check the meanings and make sure that it doesn't sound contentious, that you get your point across in the way that you wanted. Now, once again, it's still a good day for decorating around the house, making your house more beautiful. With Venus, Venus will be actually today exactly conjunct Neptune. So that can give you an incredibly creative flair. But when it comes to relationships, be careful, because you might see people in a whole different light from what you're seeing today to the future. Why do I say that? Because Neptune is like seeing things with rose-colored glasses, not necessarily seeing the truth. And you will find that there can be some problems with this, because you might see somebody in a completely different light than what the reality and the truth is, especially with romance and people that maybe if you go out on a date, be really cautious. This would not be a day, because you could just totally see somebody, all the good in them, which is nice, but it's not the reality. Okay, so let me go to the next day. Now we're talking about April 3rd. And April 3rd, the moon the entire day will be in Capricorn. And with that, the Mars and Saturn are now second from the moon, which this deals with our voice, our speech, how we communicate. And this can mean that our communications are definitely not clear. So you're going to find a little bit choked up, like you can't get the words out. You can't express what you're trying to say. So maybe it's a good day to refrain from speaking, getting information across to people with your voice. Also, because these are two malefic planets, you have to be careful of what you're consuming, what you're eating today. This can cause some problems with your health and stomach upset. So be very cautious about what you do in the area of eating. Now, the Venus, Sun, Rahu, which Sun is getting so close to Rahu, it's intense. This deals with communications as well. And it can mean that things are not coming across the way you intended. And it might be a little bit of a crazy day if you're trying to travel. But Jupiter and Mercury is retrograde, but it's in the 4th house from the moon. So it's a good day to stay home. Do some planning at home. It's a good day even to look at real estate. And you know, everybody would say, oh, Mercury's retrograde, don't buy a house. It's really not the end-all thing, Mercury retrograde. Really, it's where all the planets are situated. The only problem with buying or looking at property today, you might find that things are way overpriced because the Mars Saturn are in the second from the moon. Second house is the money you make and income. So that could be an issue. Stay home, enjoy your home. If your mom's still around, give her a call, pay her a visit. But most of all, look into possibly doing some work out of the house, and that's the best place to be today. Now, moving forward to April 4th. April 4th, the moon is still in Capricorn most of the day. Yes, all the way till the evening hours. It's in Capricorn. As a matter of fact, it will change into around 9:15 or so Central Standard Time. So in the evening, the moon moves into Aquarius, but before that, it is in Capricorn. And with that, the Jupiter, Mercury are in the 4th house from the moon, so it's a good day to get work done at home, be productive. Maybe it's a great day for you to review things, reassess your spending, go through all the books. Get that together, because with the Mars Saturn being in your 2nd house, it's time to get your financial matters together. Hey, guess what April is? Tax month. So I guess that is what everybody's being forced to do around this time in April. Get your taxes done. It's time. So the Venus, Rahu, Sun. The Sun is conjunct Rahu today. We may find that there's going to be some major happenings with government officials, the president of countries. Why? Because that's what the Sun is exactly with Rahu. So there can be some downturns, some problems, some complications for world leaders today. We will see that. This is important that you know this. Yes, so let's move on to April 5th. So April 5th, yes, the moon all day will be in Aquarius. And towards the evening, around late, like let's say, well, yeah, around 11:30. So this is late. It's almost the next day. But the moon is coming together with Mars all day because it's in the same sign as Mars and Saturn. So this is quite difficult, very contentious. Be aware of what you're doing, what you're saying. This is a difficult day. I don't like the moon with Mars or Saturn, but in reality, tomorrow will be worse. But today throughout the day, the moon is in Aquarius. Now it's in the nakshatra called Shatabishak. Shatabishak is the nakshatra that deals with the 100 healers. So there might be something coming up around this time about what's going on with healthcare, or there can be some major implications also with fears around health. Difficulty, so be cautious, because K2 is in Virgo and Mars is aspecting that K2. And as the next week comes along, it's going to get more intense. But this day, lay low. It's a day where there's just so much going on. And financially, there's a lot going on financially, because Venus is in Pisces with Sun and Rahu, and they go to the 2nd house from the moon. But the moon tied up with malefics. It's a time to lay low. Now, with Jupiter, Mercury being in Aries together, 3rd from the moon, it's a good time to journal, great time to write. You might find that this is a day that you can get a lot done with emails, writing, getting information across to people. So let us go to the next day, and I'm looking at April 6th. So April 6th, yes, the moon is conjunct Saturn. And that's tough. and this happens basically early in the day, so this is a heavy day, consumed with a lot of emotion. People are depressed. People are down and out. There's a heaviness and a seriousness in the world today as the moon crosses over Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn deals with karma, with heavy responsibility. That's what people are going to be feeling, a sense of being responsible for others and what they need to do. Now, the Venus, Rahu, Sun are in the second house, so be careful with your spending. Don't go overboard. You have the tendency to overspend. But the seriousness about today doesn't make it a joyful or happy day to do things. Now let's go to April 7th. April 7th, the moon will switch into Pisces. It will be in Pisces all day, and it will be in the nakshatra Uttara Bhadrapada. That nakshatra deals with the serpent of the deep. Therefore, it deals with deep thoughts, reflection. The moon is with Venus, so this is a day of deep reflection and creativity. I love the moon being with Venus. Of course, there's all sorts of intense things going on during today. You may find that financial matters are really coming up in the world. A lot is changing. We're feeling the change. This is the day before the solar eclipse. So even though the moon is with Venus, it's a great day to reflect, to stay home, because it's a dark moon. And that means it's not the day to start anything new, but it is a day of creative talent, reflecting. You can speak your mind. Mercury and Jupiter in the second from the moon, which deals with our speech, how we get our point across. But don't make it a day that you do anything new, because we do have Mars and Saturn in the 12th house from the moon, and this can also stand for the fact that with these two planets, 12th from the moon, that people are talking behind your back. There's a lot of problems in the workplace dealing with employees or coworkers. Lay low during this dark moon. So that really completes this whole first week. Now remember, when I start talking about next week on the 8th, that's the solar eclipse. So we feel this impending energy building and coming this whole month. So much is about to change. So get ready for the next week, because this is where we're going to really start feeling this impending change that's about to occur. So with that, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you back for the second week of April. Thank you.